Hi there, this is Bethany Barnard. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I'm really excited to show you this card today, especially because the fold is a new one, at least to me. I haven't seen it elsewhere. It was developed by one of my team members, Renee Ewert, and I love it because it stands up a bit larger than a normal card does, but it does fit inside our typical Stampin' Up! Medium envelope, which is the envelopes that we put most of our cards in. So I love this design and I wanted to share it with you. And I especially wanted to share with you the Leaves of Holly stamp set and dies, coordinating dies. So let's get started. This is a quick and easy card to make, and I'm gonna take you through it right now. I'll leave one of these cards over in the corner for you to keep an eye on while I do this. And to start with, you would want a base, vanilla or white. I've used white to go with this designer series paper. And I did want to tell you that I'll send out a PDF to anyone who orders from me in November of 2022. Anyone who orders $35 or more, I will send them a PDF to make this card, as well as some PDFs for other Christmas cards from the mini catalog, including others of using this set. Okay, so you're gonna score at 3/4 of an inch and then again at 1.5 inches. Okay, then you're gonna flip it around and you're gonna score at 3/4 and 1.5 inches. Now, I'm not sure I've told you the measurement of this, which might be why you want PDFs in case I leave something out. But this is 6 7/8 across, so just one notch under 7 inches, and 5 1/8 width. You'll still be able to get 2 of these out of one sheet of cardstock, but some of the reason why the measurements are what they are is so that you can actually get 3 of your designer series paper pieces out of one sheet of 12 by 12. That's how you get 3 of them, is 6 7/8 by 5 1/8. What you need to remember, however, is that if you have a pattern that is directional, you can only get 2 from that. So you want to choose a non-directional pattern, because you're going to have 2 that are one on top of the other one. The other one's going to slant this way. And since the card gets folded this way, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so a non-directional pattern is what works for this card fold. Okay, so that's the base. I'm going to put that to the side for a second. Now, I have already cut this for the sake of this video, but I've tried to put it together so that you can see what I've done. Actually, I am going to need this. So, okay, so here is my designer series paper, and you can see here, this pattern kind of goes more up and down. Whereas the white tends to go more this way. I don't know if you can tell that it is a different direction, but standing alone, the direction doesn't matter, and that's why I was comfortable with using 3 of these from that designer series paper. Now, these are our new dies. Here's 2 of the dies that come in with the framed florets. It's a new release. It went active for customers on November 1st. And if you run this one through first, I've put it right in between these scores, which I was gonna try and score this for you so that you could see. So again, it's exactly the same as your base, 6 7/8 by 5 1/8, and you score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. And then you would turn it all the way around and do that again, 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. And you'll see here that this measures 5 1/8 and across at 6 7/8. Now, I've already sent this through my die cutting machine using this new framed florets. And I wanted to show you what you get when you cut out that first one. You get an oval, and then you get this little frame that has all of these sort of indented lines around. It's just a beautiful frame. So you get those two pieces. But in this case, I was just going for the opening because the other die in that set, this one, will cut out an elaborate gold that fits over that opening, gold frame. Well, any color frame, I chose gold. So here's an example of our gold foil, and I ran this through my die cutting machine. And so from that, I got this piece plus another oval that even has sort of beveled edges. So you get, with one run through, you get a few things that you can use for that. Now a little tip I have here for you, I don't know if you can see it, but I've put some of our adhesive sheets along the back of this, and you'll see this is what our adhesive sheets come in. It's a pack like this, and you peel off the one piece of the sheeting and then you put it onto the back of whatever you're cutting out. It could be gold foil as it was here, but it could just be cardstock, and you just put that on here, and then when you cut it out, and you'll see this when I put this frame on, which I'm about to do actually, that I can just peel this off. See here how this starts to peel off? So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to move my scoring, my Simply Scoring, and we'll move along with the card. So if I pull this off, I used up a scrap of some of my adhesive sheet, so that's why it's coming off in various pieces. Got somebody just coming to my door and I cannot answer the door. So I'm gonna put this on here like this, and you can see it just covers up that opening. There you go. And that was right in between these score marks that I have. I don't know if he's gonna try and ring that bell again or not, but I can't stop the video. This is my second time trying to get this video up for you guys today. Okay, so, there, he's leaving. Okay, so that's how you're gonna have your front. And I'm gonna leave this piece away, but you see how easily that came together, especially with these beautiful framed florets dies that have come out. Now you're gonna take your base. In this case, mine was white because there's white in the DSP. And before I do any of the folding on those score lines, I want to decorate up this center. And you want to keep the center as your focal point because that's what you're going to see through these ovals. So again, in this die set, and these are called Holly Berry dies. And I want to show you some of these great dies that are in here. So you have this one with these holly leaves here, and you can back them with a different color there. These would back them up. And then you have this die as well that will also cut out so many of the greetings, which I'll show you in a second. You've got two different holly leaves that you could punch right out of, or die cut right out of some green cardstock, and it would give you a look of holly leaves without ever having glued them. But then you have these two outline ones that go over the stamped images, which I can show you here. And then you have this, which will come around the berries, and then this will kind of highlight the berries, so you could do them in two tones. I've stamped them in two tones, and I'll explain that to you. And then it's got these two sprigs that you can die cut as well. So these are the dies, and here's the stamp set, Leaves of Holly, and it's got season's greetings, Christmas wishes, from our home to yours, to friends near and far, and joy and peace. All beautiful stamps and beautiful dies that come with that. So what I did earlier is I stamped two of the holly leaves, the smaller holly leaf in the bolder image, and I stamped this in shaded spruce. And then I've stamped 3 sets of berries. I'm gonna stamp some of these just to show you though how I did those, because these are actually two-tone. I did Real Red, and then I went over them with Cherry Cobbler to give it a little bit more depth. And then I've already cut out Christmas Wishes in one of the framelits that this set comes with. And then I've got half a dozen of these sprigs here, just so I can use them to decorate up. And I just ran them through some, this is Evening Evergreen cardstock. And I did that because even though I'm using this spruce, they're different leaves, and in nature, the colors are a little bit different. So I, on purpose, made those a different color. The Christmas Wishes is also stamped in the shaded spruce though. So I've really only used 3 ink colors: Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, and shaded spruce. But I have also used the basic white cardstock and the Evening Evergreen cardstock. All of these things will be up in the notes of this YouTube video, so check it out if you want anything to make this card as I have. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for a second and just show you quickly how 2 tips if you want to die cut any of these sets. One is, so this is my Real Red ink pad, and I'm getting, there's 2 dies for the berries. This one is the bold filled in berries, and this one just does an outline. So in the Real Red, I've stamped that in Real Red, and then in the Cherry Cobbler, I've taken the outline. Now I hope I can do this on camera. I haven't made a mistake yet this morning, but it's not as close to me as it normally would be. But it's kind of forgiving as well, but you're gonna just go right over it. And yeah, I missed it a little bit, but I could have gotten it better if I could have gotten closer to it. And you'll see that there's a different color there of Cherry Cobbler. If you look at these that I did earlier, I mean, I really didn't have any trouble lining them up. And of course, if you want, you can always use a Stamparatus as well. But I just eyeballed those and didn't have any trouble until I tried to do it on camera away from my line of vision. The other tip I have for you with these leaves, and I have 2 tips. One is, whenever you have a large area of a stamp, it's almost always better to ink it by turning the ink pad upside down and viewing the stamp, because it gives you a better idea of how much of it and whether the coverage and whether or not you manage to get all the coverage. So that's one tip, and now I'm stamping that. And then the other tip is when you go to cut this out with your dies. So I should have here the small holly leaf die. Yes, here it is. So obviously, I think we all know it's pretty obvious. You're going to try and go through the outline. But a tip for anything that has a stem is that if you're just a little bit off, you should see, so here it is, you should see, I don't know if you can tell here, it's kind of white. And then you want to move this around your die until you're sure you've got that dark piece in that little hole there. Otherwise, you're going to cut off this little stem. So those are 2 tips for using these particular dies, and really any die that has maybe a leaf piece that's coming out. So I hope you find that helpful. Okay, so now that we have these things die cut, we're going to go ahead and put this card together here. This is going to go on the outside. Some of these will go on the outside. I'm going to move these all here, but what we're looking at is this very center piece. So I like to take the berries and with just a little bit of glue, glue them on top here, because I am going to be putting these up with dimensionals. And then I'm going to take the other leaf and I'm going to bring that down, but I want these berries to really kind of pop out. So I'm kind of working on what this image is going to look like in the center here before I actually adhere everything. So I love these sprigs, and I'm going to have 1, 2 of these maybe popping up here. Is that upside down? I think so. There we go. And then have some more coming out here. And there you've got, and see, so I like that for an image inside. If you want to, and I may decide to once I get this all on, you can always add some more berries or just a few more berries if you want. And so I'll kind of decide this as I go along here. I'm gonna take a look right now and see. Yeah, see, well, I like another pop of that red, so I'll probably do something like that. So to start with, I'm gonna leave 1 sprig till last because I like to add things once I see the whole image, have something I can add in to fill in an empty space if there is one. So I'm gonna just put some glue on these 2 bottom pieces here. So I have this one. And again, you're just kind of looking for getting these in the center of where that oval's gonna be. And I, on purpose, only put down, it's gonna be slightly protected by that piece that comes over. So it's not like these are gonna be pulled at, but I think it gives it more dimension if you don't completely glue those down. So the next piece I'm gonna use is this piece with these red berries, and I want them to go up on dimensionals. Now I have a lot of side pieces of dimensionals here that I'm gonna try and use up. So here we go. Okay, so I am thinking, again, I think I want those red berries right in the center of what we're seeing here. There we go. All right, and so now I want to take and put the second leaf in here, but not completely cover up those berries. So I think I'm gonna go there. You can hardly mess up, you know? These strips do make the process a lot quicker as well. I don't know if you're like me and are kind of happy when you have a bunch of those strips to use up. There we go. I like that because you can actually see these other 3 berries underneath, even if you don't see the whole thing. I don't know what I managed to do here, that I've got some green ink here, but I know it's not going to really show in this picture, so I'm okay with that. Now, I can still put this sprig here, and I still have these berries if I want to put them under here. And that's what I'm kind of deciding now. Maybe you guys are shouting into the video and telling me what would be best. But if I did that and this, yeah, I'm good with that. So we'll do the sprigs first. So let me put this one on, and again, I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue right at the bottom. It's gonna tuck underneath here anyway and be held down. And then a little bit more glue here. So my 1 set of berries and all the sprigs are glued right onto the back of this. But then these other berries here are also flat. And everything else, 1 set of berries and the 2 leaves, are actually up on dimensionals. Okay, so we'll bring these in here like that. And then we get some nice red colors here. in that. And you can always bring this back through to kind of get an idea of what that looks like. And I have some gems that we can add on the inside as well. But we are now ready to put this top piece on. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this. You fold both of these score lines in, and then you have this score line, and it's going to go back like this. Okay. And so now we're going to attach this wing, if you'll let me call it that, and this wing. We're going to just glue those together. And I like to do that by putting my glue on the white piece first, just on one side. I'm right-handed, so I think I find the left wing easiest to do first. And I'm just gonna slide this right up. I'm intentionally kind of picking up some other glue here. And then, that's what I love about the liquid glue, is your ability to slide it right into place. So I'm just doing one side first. There we go. So that's all matched up. And then see, it's gonna come in like this. And then this piece will come in like this. And you'll see that it fits into a normal medium-sized envelope. But we do have to work on this side. But before we do, I am gonna put a couple of gems on the inside of this. I am a bling girl, so I like to have a little bit of gems to sparkle. So I'm gonna put one here and maybe a little one next to it here. And again, that kind of takes care of some of this free space here. And then I'm going to take another one and I'll put it right here. Now, if I wasn't in such a hurry, I would have run and picked up my take your pick tool. But that's in another room, and I'm trying to get this video up so that you can see. Okay, so now I'm going to attach this other side. I'm afraid if I didn't use this liquid glue, I would set it down and then I wouldn't be able to maneuver it at all. But this way, I got it to slide right into shape. And I know that this is going to fit into an envelope, so that's good. And so we've got all this done. We just need to now decorate the outside as I did here. So what we're going to do is I've already stamped my Christmas wishes, and I've got my berries here. So I'm going to just, at the back of about where this CHR is for Christmas, I'm going to put some liquid glue. And then I'm going to just pull this in and let it attach to these berries. A little bit of glue came out just then. We'll get that up. Okay. And then I like to attach these sprigs behind it. And I do like them to kind of go over this opening. But it's really important that the sprigs don't go past this fold, because if they do, it'll interfere with the envelope. So what I like to do is put a little bit of glue on a sprig, just a tiny bit. There we go. In fact, I am going to pick up some of that glue extra for this sprig and set that aside here. I'm going to lay this here so that I know it doesn't go past that fold. I'm going to fold the card down. I'm going to center this into the front, and that way I've picked up that sprig that had the glue at the bottom. Okay, that way I know that when I put this on here, it's not going to go past this. Now, if it's not going to go past this fold that it can't go past. This final sprig, I'm going to have it go upright, and it doesn't really matter because I know that it's, as long as it's on the right-hand side of this sprig, I know it's not going to go outside of the envelope. So I've added that. I had already put the glue on it, you may recall, so I've added that sprig. And now I want this to go up with dimensionals. So I am going to use dimensionals to even trap those sprigs in a little bit more so that we don't lose them. Not that I think we would with the glue, but that's just another safety precaution. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. And so I am going to just take a little sheet of these, or not, a line of them, I guess is the better word, and put that right here. And once I peel up all the backings, there we go. Did I get the backing of this one? Again, that's where the take your pick can come in handy. All right, here we go. So I just want to remind you that, and then I'm going to just center this on the front. I don't want my berries to come below here, and I don't want my sprig to go past, but I also want Christmas wishes centered. So there we have it. This is what the card will look like when it's up on somebody's shelf. I think they're beautiful. I think they come together quickly. Just a reminder that if anybody wants the PDF to make this card and some others, to just place an order for $35 or more in my online store, and I'll have that link inside the description of this YouTube video, and I will send those out to you. And I just thank you for being a part of this today, and I hope you enjoy it and make some of these cards. They really are beautiful.